Circuit of the Americas is a state-of-the-art Formula One track and very popular, with TransAm climbing 133 feet up to turn 1 before swooping into a Silverstone-like complex based on the Maggots and Beckett's corners at Silverstone before rising up through 9 and 10 and swooping down to the tightest corner, turn 11, and then a long back straight, almost a mile, heavy braking into 12, the stadium section, and then a triple apex, turn 18, before the off-camber 19 and a very tight last turn, turn 20, to complete the 3.14-mile lap of the Circuit of the Americas.
Well, since it opened in 2012, the Circuit of the Americas has become one of the most popular tracks, not just in America, but around the world. MotoGP come here, WEC come here, and of course, Formula One. And looking down at where Max Verstappen took a podium position rather sneakily a few years ago. Alonso's had some good days here. Hamilton always goes well here. And of course, Kimi Räikkönen, the great Kimi, had a great run here just 2 years ago. We're looking high above the circuit as we get ready for our TA2 feature race. It'll be 100 miles. It'll be a case of managing the tyres. We've got Robertson here in the booth to advise what the drivers are going through and what their mindset is as the race goes on. Ben will be back here as well to join us. So we've got all angles covered. But while we've got a few moments before they head out, let's just catch up with what happened during the qualifying for TA2. Mike Skeen was the man to watch without a doubt in the 77. Rafa Matos didn't have the perfect qualifying, but Skeen was out and running hard, getting ready to show us what he's got. And it was Mike Skeen who took pole position, his 4th of the year. And back to the live pictures here as the cars get ready to go out. We were just speaking to Robertson a moment ago, and of course a former TransAm champion based here in Texas. What are your thoughts? You know Mike Skeen pretty good.
I do. I've watched a lot of his stuff online. I've heard doing this year, and he's been doing a fantastic job with these cars. He ran a 12.9 yesterday, and that's just absolutely incredible. I mean, I think whenever we were back here, I think a fast time was a 15, and it's like these cars are just getting faster and faster every year, and it's so incredible to see what these guys can do with these cars. And personally, I will be a little biased towards Mike Skeen today because a lot of my old teammates from Robertson Racing are wrenching on this car, and so my support would be for Mike. Who do you think has got
Well,
what are your favorites today?
I know one man who really wants to get something out of this weekend is Rafa Matos. He hasn't had the best of seasons. The 2018 champion, you raced against him. He's always fiery. He loves a good Formula One single-seater circuit. He comes from, of course, Indy cars originally. I'm interested to see what Paul Tracy will do now he knows he's competitive and has had a night to sleep on it, and probably a bunch of texts going, you better win this. So I'm going to keep an eye on this man for sure, because I think it's going to be interesting what he can do. Silver Hair Racing a due a win, and the Brazilian is on fire. We'll get the opinion of Ben Sissel. He's not short of an opinion or two. Who do you reckon, Ben? Boris said from the back.
I don't know, and I saw Scott Lagasse in the back. I couldn't find Scott Lagasse on the grid. He was way in the back. I don't know where he's starting. I don't have a great grid sheet yet, but, to keep the championship going, the drama that Thomas Merrill can't be here because of an incident that kept him from being at this event, at our last event at VIR. He was second in points. that really gives Rafa the best chance to move up. But Rafa, like he said, he's got to finish, and he's got to finish strong to do that. We're so happy to have JP Southern here. He's starting 5th, always fast. After that off at VIR, I didn't expect to see him back, so it's really great to see him. But I think Edward Savajan's had a good finish here. Scott Borchetta's really moving up. We might see some of our West Coasters show up in this race, so it's really anybody's race. You never know what's going to happen because 3 years ago, Gar was running for the championship against Tony Buffamonte. Tony got taken out lap 1, turn 12, and then Gar caught on fire. And they were both in the hunt, so you never know what's going to happen here. This is a really difficult track, really hard on these cars.
Yeah, I mean you can do really well here for a while, and then this track will bite you, and it is a hard bite, and it's an awful bite. But if you can get past that bite, it's very rewarding. Who's the wild card today? What do you guys?
It's got to be. Well, let me give you a bit more information. I've now found out that Legacy was late to the pre-grid. Therefore, he will start at the back with Boris Said, and that is mouth-watering. So if you want a wild card, watch those two coming from the back.
We have Boris Said and Scott Lagacy in the back. I think that there's going to be some serious moves made in this track today.
Yeah, our director's going to have to be dexterous to see the back of the field and the front of the field at the same time. But we've got a drone. We've got it all angles covered.
That's going to be really interesting because Boris Said and Scott Lagacy Jr. do not mind rubbing. And Boris never really gets a chance to rub in TA because those aren't as close as racing. But starting from the back in a field of 30 cars at a tight track like this, I expect to see a lot of donuts on the cars.
You know what's going to happen? He's going to enjoy it so much and go, I want to do some TA2 now. Now, who's
there's
this?
Boris.
There is Boris. No, yes, it is. Brochuk's car. Yeah. Yes, of course it is. Boris Said, starting at the back in Keith Brochuk, it was a migraine that was keeping. You do not want to race with a migraine.
Yeah. So Keith, I just want to say thank you. You know, we've been longtime friends with HP Tuners. He runs HP Tuners out of the Chicago area. He's raced with Gar many times. Great racer. He had a baby and had to take a little bit of a break. So glad that he's back. I wish he could be here racing, but so happy and thankful that he's giving it up to a legend like Boris because he's such a contributor. And there's Scott Lagacy.
Team ZZ Top, as I call him. His mechanics both have long beards. Scott Lagacy starting at the back as well because of not getting to the grid on time. So watch out for the 92 and the Keith Brochuk blue car of Boris Said coming through from the back.
Both a lot of NASCAR experience too, so
yes.
they're really seasoned in dealing with lots of heavy traffic and especially with a track like this where you have so many passing zones and such large runoff areas and not too many consequences. There are some, but there's not too many consequences for running wide on a corner or two. But I think one of the cool moves of the race come out of the back.
Yeah,
that would be my predictions here.
Yeah,
John Cloud, we got a glimpse of him there. He's been racing this morning already. As we go across the grid and take a look at the inside of these cars. Great job by Tony Garcia getting right amongst them. He may as well be a passenger. Tony, why don't you just get in one of those cars and follow them around for the rest of the race? I mean, you're close enough already. Great stuff. We're really getting all the angles. Brad Gross from Grapevine, Texas, just outside Dallas.
We want to thank Brad because he gave Dylan Archer his car to use at Brainerd, just helping out the series. So, Brad, welcome back, but thank you so much for giving that up. There's Maurice Hall with Silver Hair Racing, Rafa Mato's teammate and owner, always a really fast driver. Great to have him here. Silver Hair Racing, I think they have big plans for next year, so make sure you're following them on social media. And speaking of social media, leave us a comment. Where are you watching from? Who are you rooting for? We've got Boris Said, Paul Tracy, Scott Lagacy, Mike Skeen, Cameron Lawrence. We've got Rafa Matos, all kinds of legends. Who do you want to see win?
I want to see Paul Tracy get a podium. I know Lee Diffie will be watching right now. He'll probably be doing a bit of NASCAR and a bit of this.
And there's the fan favorite. You see her just to the right, Michelle Abadi. Make sure you follow her in Gur Racing. She has a podcast. She and her husband do it all on their own with a great Dalmatian dog. There's some good stuff here this weekend.
We are in Austin, Texas, in big letters. And those baubles you saw there are part of the Christmas festival starting to ramp up and get ready for December, not far away.
Peppermint Parkway.
That's it. Lovely view of what we call the B paddock or the support paddock. But because of so many SVRA cars, TransAm have decided to use this paddock. But it's nicely positioned and nicely set out for them. I think all the drivers love coming here. And as you can see, Eric, our man at the front of that grid, will do the traditional lead off, for the cars in a moment, and I can see Tony Garcia rushing with his little legs over there to get in position as they come out and file out. And this is always a tense time for the drivers. They're stuck in there for quite some 10 minutes or so, and a little bit of thinking time. There's Lagacy, and there is Eric, as I mentioned, starting to tell him to roll those engines. Eric does a great job. He's a real performer, is our Eric. And he keeps these boys in control, which is no mean feat. And in a moment, we will hear the roar of the muscle cars of 2020, 1966. Can you believe it? The longest road racing continuous championship in the United States, and now popular in Australia, popular in Asia, and popular in New Zealand, and growing by the minute. We know you're tuning in around the world, and we thank you for doing so. Mike Skeen heads out, and Cameron Lawrence will follow him. Good deal.
Yeah. 14th row, as the pace lap has started, is Doug Winston driving the number 16 D&M Electric.
Well, has Gar's dad heard the news?
And John Cloud.
Gar Robertson to race at the Roval next year for the next 3 years.
I have raced at the Roval.
But he's coming back to TransAm, I hear. He's gritting his teeth as I look across there.
I am, but we're pretty tied up in what we're doing right now, but I'm not going to make any promises, but I'm not going to disappoint anyone either.
I love it. Nice fence sitting. Don't get any splinters. But Mike Skeen leads them out, and I'm keeping a rough eye. Like I said, Gar put the question to me, and I said, watch out for Rafa Matos. I think Paul Tracy will play it as hard as he can because he doesn't want to mess with the championship, but I think he'll want to be competitive, and if he gets a sniff at a potential podium, he'll take that and give it to Townsend Bell and go, back at you, son.
I think get the championship, and I think he'll maybe a little bit. He might mess with it a little bit, but Tracy's probably going to want to get to the front, just like everyone else.
You don't put a helmet on Paul Tracy and tell him not to try and be competitive.
Well, I mean, Townsend Bell and all those guys already challenged already, so he's got to impress here.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, we brag a lot about where people are watching from, and we were saying we've got Baltimore, we got George Robinson Racing, we've got a bunch of people watching from all over. Hopefully the Australians join us because we talk a lot about TA2 Australia. And Gar, you had the honor of running TA2 Australia at Bathurst.
How was that
like? That was incredible. I have been saying, everyone in all the sports car paddocks that I've been to, I've been saying, like, Spa's great, Nürburgring's cool, all that stuff, but Bathurst is just so special because it's one of those hidden gems in motorsports right now that, I mean, it's a cult following down in Australia, but they're so far away from us.
It's hard to explain, isn't it?
It is impossible to explain. It's
the only way to explain it is it really shouldn't be a racetrack. Those
that's the best way to explain it.
On the side of a mountain, but that's what makes it so cool.
It's like if you took VIR and made it a street course.
There you go. That's a good way of putting it.
And it's not even the racetrack, which is incredible, by the way, but the fan interaction and stuff down there is incredible. I mean, I remember because when I did the TransAm TA2 race down there, we won one of them, and then we went back again, and I think we finished second or something in our class. They had some really good drivers down there, and ended up going to, we were at Long Beach for the Grand Prix, and there was this group of Australians that came up, and they knew who I was down there. And that was the coolest thing ever.
I'll bet.
They really do pay attention very well to their drivers down there. And
they love muscle cars. They've grown up on V8s.
They love these cars.
But, you know, I got to brag on them too. And this is a global platform, so we've got TA2 Europe, Asia, Australia. We've got some in New Zealand.
Yep.
But TA2 Australia, they put out some great content, have great races. There's a ton of cars that Chaz House sending out there, good stuff.
I'll stand up for New Zealand motorsport now and tell you, I know something big's coming out of New Zealand when it comes to TransAm racing. I know he's behind it. I know, it's gonna ramp up, and there's so much talent there that I reckon it's gonna go big.
And the cars are so much fun too. Like, I know, like I think in the Danish series. They have Jan Magnussen and stuff running these things and stuff like that. And everyone else that gets out of one of these cars has a big smile on their face. So.
All right, guys. Well, my heart rate is getting up. We got a good field of 30 TA2 cars coming in. Jonathan, take this call.
All right, I want one more comment from Gar. What's the key to approaching turn one if you are Cameron Lawrence and trying to get the lead?
Hang on to the outside and get yourself a good run on turn 2.
So try to do the switchback.
Exactly. That's
all right.
I would rather start in P2 on the outside.
All right. Well, we're on board with Cameron Lawrence, and when we get Lawrence's shot, we'll definitely refer to Gar and see what his thoughts are and what he would do in that situation. Gar Robertson, delighted to have him on board because, of course, he was in the thick of this. He's raced every driver here, and they are all trying to get temperature in the tires, but the pace car has been rather slow, I think, today.
But he needs to even slow down. That's not the whole bunch, is it? That can't be 30 cars.
We'll have to see whose tires are warmed up.
Yeah, going to say, that could be an interesting factor as we go to the start of this race. TA2 then, our feature race.
There's Paul Tracy.
Paul Tracy, we've got an onboard with him. We've got one with Cameron Lawrence. And we're going to get some excellent pictures. You can see they're almost willing the pace car to go quicker because they're trying desperately to get some temperature into those tires. So this is going to be an interesting start because I don't think the pace car was fast enough, but now we're lined up 2 by 2 ready to go here in our TA2 race. It's 100 miles, but who will be smiling at the end of it? We come on board on the front row with Cameron Lawrence, Mike Skeen in pole position on the right hand side in the liquid moly colors. The green flag will wave in a moment. They are almost touching as we get ready for the start of this one. A fantastic field here at the Circuit of the Americas, and away we go! Green flag waves, good start
Rafa
from
Matos.
the silver hair racer, and it is Rafa Matos, and Matos dives to the inside and dives to the lead. Cameron Lawrence goes high and wide, but it's going to be Rafa Matos. Paul Tracy goes wide as well, following him through. It looks as though Boris Said has picked up a couple of places, but certainly we're going to keep an eye on the back as well as the front, but it is going to be Rafa Matos who leads them through the S's for the first time. Good start.
Rafa Matos.
Oh, no.
Lots
Big
of cars.
crash.
In there.
Lots of cars involved.
Elias Anderson, the man from Texas, from Driftwood, involved in that spun round that will surely bring out the safety, but we're still racing for now. On board with Cameron Lawrence as he dives over 10 down towards 11. There is Elias Anderson, stuck out on track. Here comes Cameron Lawrence into 11 for the first time. It looks as though Mike Skeen on the outside in third now.
He'll have the best run out of all 3 of those.
And Michael Self in 4th position, on board again with Paul Tracy down the back straight. Takes a look in his mirrors. Beautiful sound as he goes through the gearbox.
Cameron Lawrence, Paul Tracy, and Mike Skeen.
What an exciting start. And Rafa Matos superb off the line. Here comes Cameron Lawrence though, and cutting him off though. Rafa tries to stop him, but you can't stop a flying Cameron Lawrence, because into the lead goes Lawrence, but that was a little bit nasty. I mean, there's nothing wrong with blocking, but I think Rafa was a little too aggressive there. We'll see what the stewards, what do you guys think?
I mean, they're racing pretty hard right now.
But they're racing for points.
Now we got a full course caution.
Yeah, I figured that was. Damage to the 99 of Self as well. Look, the right-hand side.
Yep.
There's Elias Anderson. Full course.
Which
caution, no surprise.
Which means we get a restart.
Yes, we do.
We get to do this again.
Come on, driver. What do you do now?
What do I do now?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure of the TransAm rules because we've been following vintage. Are they going to start from the finish line restart, or they restart from the same?
If I remember correctly, they'll be starting from the finish line, which is earlier than the starting line, which is about midway down the front straightaway.
That's good info. So tell us what you would do.
What I would do is, if I'm Cameron Lawrence, they have to start in when the green flag drops. They don't get to
right.
They set the pace, but it's a little different than how it's been done in IMSA and SRO and stuff like that, where they kind of set the pace and go when they please. But I probably just want to get a really good run coming out of.
Self's going to have to pit. Look at that.
He's going to have
tire
to pit.
rub.
Look, he's rubbing on the bodywork there, and he's still in 4th place. That's why he doesn't want to pit.
Yeah.
But
Mike Coates going to call him in.
Yeah.
You're going to have to look for a big dive bomb pass going into the final corner before the restart straightaway. I remember back in 2015, I was leading and another car came and took me or spun me around, so I ended up going 12th and had to fight my way back up. But it was you have to watch out for the dive bomb passes going into the restart, because I believe you can pass when the green flag comes out. You don't have to wait for the you don't have to wait to start pass the start finish line. That's only on a
so let's go through the top 10, because a lot changed in that one
Yeah,
lap
no
with
kidding.
half under yellow. So we've got Cameron Lawrence at first, Rafa Mato second, Mike Skeen third, Michael Self fourth, but I'm guessing he's going to have to go into the pits. Paul Tracy, fifth place. J.P. Southern, John Paul Southern Jr. is in sixth. Edward Savajan moving his way up to seventh place. Jet Noland, eighth. John Atwell, ninth. William Cox, the third. 10th place. This is wrapping up. This is not wrapping up. This is starting out to be a great race.
Well, I'm sure that Paul Tracy's licking his lips, because he can see that the car in front of him is damaged, and you've got to think that he's got to come in, and that gives Paul Tracy a chance to have a bite at Mike Skeen before they get too far into this race, and he'll be looking at a podium, as I said. I think that will make him happy for the day.
So we have questions online already on the TransAm Facebook. So to answer your question, Boris Said has moved his way up to 17th place already.
Come on, Boris!
And Scott Lagacy Jr. is in 15th.
Oh, wow.
So,
Great,
oh my goodness.
great start from Scott Lagacy then.
Yep. Michelle Abadi, everybody watching her, is in 20th place. It's followed by Scott Borchetta and Maurice Hall. So it's just a great race throughout the field.
And by the way, if you're wondering what happened, Keith Prochak had a migraine. Boris Said took his drive. He'll also be in the TA race, of course, and he'll be at the front of that one. And Scott Lagacy missed the pre-grid by just 2 minutes and was therefore put to the back.
I hope we fixed the lights on this pace car, because they keep going out. I think we're running out of
I
batteries.
just want him to go faster. Well, they're out already, which could mean we're restarting. But we'll soon find out.
Now, I think we're going to see a couple different strategies here. I think the two front cars, Cameron and Rafa, they're fighting real hard, so they're using up a lot of tire right now.
Right.
And Mike Skeens is watching back there, just seeing what they're doing, and it'll be an interesting strategy at the end. We'll see.
We're going to do another lap for sure. We're not going to.
William Cox out there racing with Scott Lagacy's team, and his M1 car moved up from 12th to 10th, and this is his first time with TA2. He's doing a great job.
I feel sorry for Elias Anderson, because he hails from Driftwood, just down the road from you, Gar, and yeah, I mean, this is his home race. He really wanted to put on a show, and he's probably got some good friends here to cheer him on, but it's not to be, sadly. But he'll have another chance at the doubleheader. Now let's watch the 99. You can see smoke coming off the tires.
They're going to have to come in and fix that. That's going to be a flat tire pretty soon.
Yeah. Surely he's going to come in. And now looks like would be the time to do it, right? Because they were going to get probably one more under safety.
If there was any time to come do that, right now it would be.
Well, I'm looking out of my window here at the commentary booth, and nobody's coming in, and he goes through.
He goes through. Oh.
Well, he either feels as though he can rectify it, or he isn't aware, but I don't believe that's the case.
No, because I'm sure somebody at the Mike Cope team is watching the live stream just to have an extra eye out there.
Now, they don't close the pits on the yellows, do they?
Not that I know of.
Shouldn't do.
Unless there's a safety incident at pit in.
Yeah.
Yeah, this safety car is confusing with the lights, isn't it? And there you see the damage. Great work by Marley there, giving us our view of close-up of the fourth place man. Paul Tracy, as I said, just behind him. Jet Noland is due a win. He had a crash at VIR and caused a safety car himself, so he'll be looking for a result. There's Scott Lagacy. There's Boris Said in the blue. And there is the Greur car of Michelle Abate. Abate. We should also mention, obviously, as well as the actual main national race, we have the West Coast guys in there. And Michelle Abate already has been got her first win recently, so she's got a tail up, and it's going for the West Coast Championship this year.
I believe she's second in points now,
she could
behind
take the lead with
Tim
a good result.
Lynn, who's not here.
Right.
So this would be a good chance for her to get some points and really try to close up the West Coast. She finished last year, if I remember correctly, she was 5th in points. We're so happy to have her out here. She's a huge addition to the paddock, and if you follow her on social media, you'll know that she is all about Trans Am and promoting the Trans Am West Coast Series, and we hope to see her on the East Coast here in next year.
She was also in our TransAm Championship earlier in the year. And we'll be seeing Tyler Casera up soon.
So what would your dad or Jim Frazier be telling you right now? Let's say if you were in Paul Tracy's position.
If I'm in Paul Tracy's position, they would... well, my dad wouldn't be saying anything because we already had that argument.
Sorry, George.
He had to... Sometimes we had to give him a dummy radio, so... on the radio.
It's all coming out now.
But you're just getting... Right now, it's too early in the race to really make any big decisions. We're kind of restarting the race from lap 1 again, essentially. But you're just making all your calculations and just predict where you're going to be at the end of the race.
Well, if you've just joined us, we are under caution here as Rafa Matos took the early lead, and we're now forming up on the grid again to get the green flag and go racing again. If the safety car pulls off, we will be racing, and Rafa will be defending a whole field of very hungry TA2 drivers. Jet Nolan right there where he needs to be as well. Edward Savagian and several others. Paul Tracy, all looking for a decent result here.
I can't believe how early the quads are out.
Yeah.
We're gonna. This will be a really pretty good restart, I think.
All right, let's take a look. Here they come through the stadium section, about to go into turn 16, the Triple Apex. Fantastic shots here, live here at the Circuit of the Americas. We welcome you around the world, wherever you're tuning in, to your muscle car fix. On board with Cameron Lawrence. We've got on boards with Lawrence and with Paul Tracy. And the Alfa Romeo leading them now to 19 should pull off. Looks as though we'll be with Cameron Lawrence. He'll be the first to know. And the reason I say that is the lights are off, yes, but they've been off for quite some time as well. He has now pulled off, and Cameron Lawrence is in control of this race. We're about to go racing again, on board with Paul Tracy. Can he make a move on the 99 with the damage? Michael Self, here we go! Beautiful sound of TransAm at COTA. And Michael Self in real trouble now as that tyre really rubs heavily on the bodywork. Paul Tracy in the 87 comes alongside him and makes the move and does take 4th place. Good clean move by Paul Tracy. And on board with the leader, Cameron Lawrence, as he comes under the bridge now towards the S's. Now watch him fight the wheel through here. Mike Skeen in second. He's got ahead of Rafa Matos. Matos didn't get the restart as well as he'd like. Now, do you reckon the 99 can self-right himself, do you think?
Maybe if he goes and hits another car.
Yeah.
He goes tears the rest of the bodywork off, but
or fast enough down the back straight.
Fast, yeah. But I would bet you to say that he's probably got the worst, at least right front tire of the field right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seems like it's not smoking as much anymore, but that could be bad.
Let's see if Rafa Matos can bounce back. The Brazilian in 3rd place in the all-black silver hair racing car number 7 as they head down the back straight. We'll see the speed now and maybe get some slipstreaming going on because this is such a long straight and you can see it in the drone. Look at them top speed now, over 170 miles an hour past the RV park. Best overtaking into 12, but no one's doing it just yet.
Lots of brake smoke.
Yeah, exactly. And, a little bit of a shenanigan there in the midfield, but everybody, we're keeping an eye on what happens to Legacy and, of course, Boris Sen. But at the front, it's pretty frantic as we go back on board with Paul Tracy in 4.
Paul Tracy's going to try to work his way up there, but Michael Self dives in at 15.
He's going to lose out, though, because Paul Tracy!
There's the chrome horn. That's the first chrome horn of the day.
The chrome horn is back. Look out.
Looks like he's got rid of that bodywork, too.
Yeah.
NBC have stopped their coverage of NASCAR to watch the chrome horn.
Chrome horn number 2.
Great racing. Out of 19 comes Tracy, but he's under pressure for sure. Here come the leaders. Cameron Lawrence got a smidgen of a lead, nothing in it. He just does a 2:15.6. Mike Skeen and Rafa Matos glued together as they come up the mighty hill here at COTA.
Self. Where's Self?
He's disappeared.
I think he disappeared at 20. Maybe his tire went loose.
Yeah. I've got a feeling he either came into the pits because there was too much
look at
damage.
that. William Cox, followed by his teammate Scott Legacy. And there's Edward Savajian in his Ford Mustang. He finished 3rd here last year, so expect him to move his way up.
I'll tell you what, brilliant stuff by Lagasse. He's already in the top 10, and we're a long, long way to go yet. Some 56 minutes left in this race. So watch out for Scott Lagasse Jr.
Yeah, I talked to him last night, and he told me he's got it for Circuit of the Americas. And then they were late to grid.
Bit.
Yeah, so expect him to move up the field. And if there's another full course caution, really expect him to move up the field. But
and
man, that front group is really tight as Rafa takes a look at Skeen coming into 12 or 11.
Into 11, yeah.
We've got a debris flag. That's Michael Self's car parts up there.
Oh, Lagasse
on
takes
the move. Teammate.
He's moving quick. Now that was one of my favorite things about this series about this class.
Here comes Rafa. Oh, damage to Skeen's car. Has Rafa hit the back of him, do you think?
I wouldn't put it past him. That'll definitely give him a little bit of a...
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Rafa's gone through into 2nd place with Skeen damage to the rear of that car. The Liqui Moly, number 77, the championship leader, now chasing down Rafa Matos. Oh, no! We've had real shenanigans.
That's Rudy Revak right there in the number 63 and Kurt Vogt, who had it off last year at turn 3A. Kurt Vogt with Cobra Automotive. Kurt Vogt is actually the president of the Shelby Club of America. And it looks like he can't get that thing refired up. Currently 18th.
Well, Team 23 is coming into NASCAR with Michael Jordan next year, but Kurt Vogt is turning around the 23 here at COTA with 26 laps to go. And do we have another safety, I wonder?
That's
We're looking
Ricky
at the
Brooks.
officials.
Ricky Brooks is kind of the chief of the TA2 platform, and he does not look happy.
Full course caution.
Already warming the tires. You see that? They get the caution, and they're already going, almost in unison. I'm sure that Joe Stevens is talking to Mike Skeen right now, or even Jim Frazier, telling him about the body damage and trying to figure out what they're going to do about that.
Oh, yeah, he can't get it going again. That's a real shame. But yeah, let's go back to that Mike Skeen incident. I wonder what caused that and why he's got damage to the rear end. And is it bad enough to bring him in? Because if he is bad enough to come in, that could change the complexion of the championship. Mike Skeen had a healthy lead coming into COTA, and with double headers at both Road Atlanta and Laguna Seca.
Yeah, but we saw Mike work his way
from
we saw him work his way from the back last time. So even if he came in, he would probably be at 25th, and he could work his way up to be good in the points. So it's going to be interesting to see what Jim Frazier and Stevens Miller Racing with the Liqui Moly Turn 14 car decides to do.
It doesn't look like it's rubbing on anything, on any tires, or causing any sort of harm to
the
drivability of the car. It might be a little bit of an aero problem down the back straight, which is
how Rafa got him.
Pretty necessary over here, but it doesn't look like it'll phase him too hard. But back to what I was saying, one great thing about this series is that no matter where you are lap time wise, the best thing about it is that there's always someone to race. No matter if you're mid pack, front of the pack, or back of the pack, there's always someone out here that you get to race, and that's really that was really one of my favorite things, especially whenever I was doing my first few races here. The racing was always so tight, and that was really one of the best. I think that's what really makes it entertaining to watch as well.
Yeah. So they need to clean up some debris right there at turn 10. But after they get
some tires ready,
yeah, I bet you that's the Cope team with Michael Self.
Yeah. Good point.
If Self is back on the track, we lost him at turn 20 somewhere.
Yeah, he kind of just disappeared.
So
he had it coming together.
That Michael.
Looks like it could be Boris.
I think that's Boris.
Yeah, that's a 9 on the roof, I believe.
Yeah, fans of Boris said he's in 15th position.
Yeah.
At the moment.
For now, it has all the body panels.
On board with Cameron Lawrence then, leading this race. There you see the flashing lights finally on the Alfa Romeo. Maybe it's just the front shot where you can't see them. That's maybe what's confusing me. Because, look, yeah, it is. It's the rear shot, or the rear of the Alfa Romeo has got the lights on. That's what's deceiving us, because we're used to seeing those lights, but we can't see them from the front. Got it. Understood. Right, but the point is they can see the lights, so yeah. Now, readying themselves for a potential pit stop. And there's no question they're getting ready. And they're talking on the radio.
That's Cameron Lawrence or Paul Tracy's team. I wonder what they're talking about.
Well, we're not very far into this race.
No,
either,
we're not.
So there's a lot can go wrong. You always want to be ready. Looking at timing and scoring, it looks like Michael Self was back a couple laps, so they might have pulled it into the garage to try and see if they could together maybe salvage some points out of this.
Yeah, good point.
Going down 2 laps under caution, I would believe that they might Roger, because I don't see them in the pits. So, Raj.
There's a truck here at 19. I don't know why he's I think there must be some debris there as well.
That might be where Self is.
That might be where Self went off, exactly. So, drama indeed here in our TA2 feature race here on the second day of the Speed Tour coming to Texas. And we are under caution, still waiting to get that car of Kurt Vogt out of the way after a coming together. Good crowd. I'm glad to see some crowd in the paddock there. And I've seen a few dotted around and in the paddock as well.
We've got some Michelle Labate fans. Zach Woods.
That's a nice shot.
Yeah, that's Jeff Hawley right there. He's the crew chief at Silverhair Racing. He's got a ton of experience in NASCAR. Probably talking to Rafa right now, but if you're watching from social media, leave us a comment. Tell us who you're rooting for. We'd like to welcome all the NASCAR drivers that I'm sure are watching right now because NASCAR is going to be here in 2021.
Yeah,
so
you know what? There might be some interest there.
I'm sure
exactly
there is.
that.
Yeah.
And you know that the NBC crowd are watching Paul Tracy, their boy. But you're right, coming next May, NASCAR Cup. They are in Phoenix today for their finale. And that's going to be interesting as well. But yeah, they've probably got time to tune in. So welcome, NASCAR. We look forward to having you here.
And you know, Gar, that the NASCAR guys are so jealous of this TA2 platform.
Absolutely. But I'm excited to see what kind of show that they put on down here, too. I mean, I've watched some of the races and stuff with open-wheel cars and sports cars and stuff like that. But I haven't really seen anything quite as entertaining to watch at this track than a stock car style tube frame chassis car. And I think when we see 40 of the 40+ cup cars out here, I think
it's gonna be a show.
I think it'll be quite a show.
Yeah.
The track is a little bit low grip. Yeah, I think.
I wonder how many are going to call Paul Tracy and Boris Said and Scott Lagasse Jr. for advice.
I wonder how many of them are going to be in that race.
That's a good point.
That's what I.
Well, listen, we just got the call from Race Control that we will be going green after this lap is completed, and that will give us just under 48 minutes of great racing. Talking of 48, best of luck to Jimmy Johnson today. He's out at Phoenix in his last hurrah. Maybe he'll race that one for us.
That would be awesome.
Well, we'll get him in commentary. Down the back straight then, before the restart of this one. At the moment, Cameron Lawrence leading the way in the all-yellow three-dimensional services group. Doug Winston watching at home as he put Paul Tracy in the car.
Scott Lagasse already in the top 10,
Yep.
currently 9th, and now he's getting a restart. So I would look for Edward Savajan and Scott Lagasse to try to move up a little bit, but they've got tough competition. John Atwell, Jet Nolan, J.P. Southern, Paul Tracy, Mike Skeen, Rafa, and Cameron.
There
top
is.
10 is always competitive in
Look, you
TA2.
can even get your own Liquid Molly shirt.
Yeah.
Perfect.
They were giving those away at either selling them or giving them away at their trailer last.
Well, the lights are off now as we come under the bridge at 16. And that means we will be racing. Cameron Lawrence will have the dubious task of leading him up the hill. I always think it's a nervous moment. You are with a hill as high as it is and as long as it is, and with that tight corner, turn one, anything can go wrong. You're defending the inside, but you don't want to be on the inside. It's not the fastest line, and as Gar said, he'd prefer to be starting on the outside and doing the switchback.
If we're on the rhythm start, but
right,
not for a restart.
Gotcha.
I want to welcome Jose watching from Panama. Good stuff.
With a cigar?
I don't know. Here we go, Jonathan.
Here we go then, the restart for the TA2 as they roar into action in the muscle cars here at COTA. Cameron Lawrence leads them up the hill. Rafa Matos in second place. Mike Skeen with damage to the rear of that car in third. And Paul Tracy in fourth position. Tracy dives to the inside. Scott Lagasse Jr. trying to make his way through. He's 10th at the moment. West Coast, Michelle Abate going strong. Beautiful sound of Cameron Lawrence weaving his way through the S's. Ooh, that was a little too far at one point. And it looks as though Mike Skeen's car's okay.
Lagacy picked up a position on Atwell.
So did Boris said.
Nice.
Boris is up to 14.
We've got a lot of people I'm watching our Facebook going for Paul Tracy and Boris said as we are on board with Cameron Lawrence. Tell us what you're seeing from this view as a driver, Gar.
Well, if I'm a driver, I'm not necessarily. I'm looking as far ahead as I possibly can right now, but I'm also looking in my mirror because I know I have Rafa Matos behind me, and he could be fairly aggressive if tempted.
Talking of aggressive side-by-side action there.
The rear end of Mike Skeen is might be having a little bit of trouble there, but
yeah,
look at Lagacy with this draft on the inside here.
Yeah, Skeen sort of weaving from side to side, trying to get rid of that bodywork, I think. Yeah. Paul Tracy may have another go at overtaking him in the stadium section.
That's another position for Lagacy as he's behind JP Southern.
I know, JP Southern is now starting to make a move on Paul Tracy. He, of course, a former single-seater driver. I've got a feeling that he probably raced F4 here a few years ago, did JP.
First gear.
Through the stadium they come. Lawrence not getting much change from Rafa Matos, who's glued to the back of him at the moment. And the field starting to spread out, but we're keeping an eye on Lagacy. He got the restart at 10th. He's already up to 8th.
I think Rafa's going to try to make a pass here.
Yeah,
I think we're going to start seeing some argy-bargy, as
argy-bargy.
say.
Absolutely.
Skeen's fallen back a little bit.
Yeah, I think that bodywork is really going to start affecting his straight line speed, which is crucial here.
Rafa winding himself up for the move on the inside. He goes for it. Rafa Matos of Brazil thought about it.
Can't make it.
Can't make it. The 2018 champion holds his powder and keeps it dry.
So we've got a 2018 champion. We've got a two-time champion, Cameron Lawrence in the front, and then we've got a guy running for the championship in third. Always good talent up front in TA2.
And I remember whenever we were running here, this was at the
Oh! I thought for a moment Cameron had made a mistake then, but he just held it all together, but he was just running wide for a second there, but it's just the line he was taking.
These guys all still have 4 more races to go. Whenever we were running here, this was like the second to last
finale,
race.
yeah.
So the championship was pretty. You could kind of gauge. Is that Scott
Lagacy
right
and
there?
Paul Tracy.
Yep.
With
Paul
JP
Tracy,
Southern. Paul
JP
Tracy.
Southern on the outside, and look at Lagacy. He's now in this battle. Lagacy coming alongside JP Southern, and Paul Tracy's his next victim. What a race Lagacy's having! Superb stuff by Scott Lagacy Jr. Side by side with JP Southern. Coming down the long straight. Something's got to give. Lagacy's got the better line. He might take Tracy as well at this point.
Is he going to go for 5th or is he going to go for 4th?
Go on, Scotty. Well, he's got Southern. That's 1. Or has he?
You can defend really hard
Oh,
here.
go on, JP. And he's just used the more of the track than Lagacy, but Lagacy keeps his foot in and follows Tracy, almost bump drafting him through. And this is great racing. Lagacy does get through on JP Southern, or does he? No. Southern will not give in, and quite rightly so. JP Southern doesn't give an inch. They're still side by side, and as they battle, it's just allowing Paul Tracy to get away.
Good stuff from JP Southern.
Yeah, really
I know
good.
that he is so competitive after that incident, and being a driver more disappointed than JP was after Mid-Ohio, and he's really showing us the talent that he has in this series.
Well, I've been watching his career since he was a young man. He had a big accident as a youngster and thought he'd never race again. And here he is, right at the top of his game. Here comes Rafa again. Now, will he go for the inside again, or will he go high and wide and look for the switchback? Cameron Lawrence is waiting. Can't defend, and Rafa goes for the inside. Has he got him this time, I wonder? Oh, yes, he has for now as Cameron goes wide. Rafa takes the lead. And the silver hair is the silver fox right now. Great stuff by Rafa Matos.
And this is what he told me he wanted to do at the grid. He's so close in points that he needs to win this race to really have a chance in the next 4 races at Mike Skeen.
And look at Scott Lagacy all over the back of Paul Tracy. Lawrence now is second place as he comes through 8. Up the hill they come into 9.
But that's putting Cameron in that move in turn 1 and through all that section put him right in the crosshairs of Mike Skeen a little bit.
But this really changes the complexion now, because what do you do as Jim Frazier and Joe Stevens? Because if Mike Skeen comes
Tracy.
if Mike Skeen has to come in, that really hurts him in the points.
Oh, JP has a bite as well. Sorry to interrupt. There's so much going on. Go ahead.
Lagacy in 4th right now.
Yeah, brilliant. From the back.
So what do you do as the crew chief if the body work is slowing you down? You're leading in the points, but the person right behind you is Rafa, who's winning the race.
Well, there's nothing you can really do. Ooh, looks like we have some bodywork damage on the front of Cameron's car too. They must have gotten into. Or no, that's Paul Tracy's car.
Yeah.
Well, he got a nudge from JP Sutton as they came out of 11 as well.
So did he get chrome horned?
I think he was doing some chrome horning.
He was. Chrome horning is allowed in Texas. It's a state law.
Yeah.
This is a great, he just locked up his front left there, Paul Tracy did, but this is a great race. Now let's see if Lagacy has any speed to catch up to these front 3 to try to make another podium. He was on the podium with us last year.
Well, he'll be hoping for another safety car, I'm sure.
Another yellow would put him right in a great spot.
Ooh, Rafa goes very wide.
We're starting to get to a point where tire degradation is starting to come into play. So we're going to start. This race isn't over. I mean, it's.
Who would you say of the top 3 is the best at saving tires as Kurt Vogt finally makes it back to the pits?
Mike Skeen, no doubt.
I'd probably put Mike Skeen up there. All 3 of these guys up front. Scott Lagacy, he's driven all sorts of different stock cars and stuff like that. So he's got a great, probably has a great feel for it. Paul Tracy, he's got so much experience out here. And there's Boris too. So you start to see once the tires start going away, then you have to use a whole different style of driving too. The car's not going to work, so you have to make it work.
Boris set up to 11th place now for fans of 12th place, fans of the Californian, and there is Morris Hull, team leader, if you will, at Silverhair Racing.
Something must have happened to Texas native Edward Savagian. He went from 7th to 17th.
Skeen still with that damage, but still in 3rd place, but Lagacy coming fast. I'm going to keep an eye also on this good youngster battle between JP Southern and Jet Nolan starting to evolve. And Jet in 7th place and JP Southern in 6th place.
And that's William Cox, 15-year-old that's like to get up there with the youngsters battling out as well.
Now, can Rafa make any inroads on Cameron? Not yet. You can see
Rafa's
from the
leading.
drone.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, make a gap.
Yeah, he's not able to get a gap in this first time he's taken the lead to get away from Cameron. And I'm keeping an eye on how quickly Lagacy can get up onto this group at the lead. But at the moment, it's going to take him a few laps. But there's still plenty of time in this race, as Gar rightly points out. It's going to become a battle of the tires because they've been racing hard in the early part of this race.
Yeah, we're 30. I'm liking what I'm seeing right here. We're 30 minutes into this race, and Rafa just set his fastest time at a 2:14.6. But that comes into another. That brings up another factor that you have to start bringing into. These cars are starting to burn off some of the fuel, so the balance of these cars are starting to change. So I think some of these guys may have set their car up to work better with an empty tank.
They're not taking a lot of time on the track limits at the moment, that's for sure.
No.
19 and 20 there, both the leaders going wide. Let's have a look at the times this time out. Rafa Matos does a 2:14.7, so they've all upped it. Fastest man out there was Cameron Lawrence, 2:14.7. Mike Skeen's up there. Lagacy did a 2:15.4, so he needs to up the pace a little bit if he can. Barry Bowes, another man from Texas, racing at home in the number 32.
And Matt Fastnacht right there behind him, racing with Stevens Miller. He was just in the MX-5 race, and now he's in a TA2 car.
These onboards are fantastic. I love the whole telemetry and the setup. You get to see them working, doing the gear shifts, as well as watching the revs, seeing the gears they're in. In fact, the gear's not working at the moment on that one, but you can certainly see the speeds as they come down to turn 11. Over 130 miles an hour, dropping down to what? 50 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour. And now back on through the gearbox. Clunk. Clunk. Lovely.
And no offense to you, Gar, but there's nothing better than seeing them have to shift with their right hand and not the paddle shift.
I agree. I agree with
full course yellow. I've just been instructed a full course yellow. Oh my word! Look out! Here comes Legacy.
And the
full course
thickens.
yellow. Wow, is this? I tell you what, I've had plenty of Shakespeare. This is real drama.
If I'm Scott Legacy and Boris said right now, I'm licking my chops right now. That's probably one of the best things that they could have seen right now.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with William Cox too.
Yeah.
First time in TA2, he went out in some of the vintage races with a B-Spec car just to get a feel of it. And there we see Boris said right there in Keith Prochuk's HP Tuner's car.
So we are under safety again with just over half an hour to play. There is Boris said, the mighty Boris, who's done NASCAR. He's done every form of racing. He's a fantastic sports car racer. He's done Le Mans. And, well, I don't know what he hasn't raced. If you give him a wheelbarrow, he'd race that.
Oh, yeah.
And his son is also Boris II. Just the same curly hair, the same looks, and the same competitiveness, I may add, too.
He'll be racing with us. He'll
Yeah.
be racing with us at Road Atlanta in 2 weeks.
Oh, great. So the incident at turn 19, by the looks of things. There's Mike Skeen, our championship leader, with a poorly rear left. But it's not affecting his race times.
If you're Scott Lack and that on the back of the current points leader, Scott's in the hunt. I believe he's in about 4th or 5th.
Well, as soon as he got to 4th, I said he wants a safety now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he got it. Now, where is Boris?
Now
Boris is still 12.
Now, the yellow was one of the worst things that I think Rafa could have seen right now because he seems like he was starting to get into a rhythm, and that's when you start. When you're up front, that's what you have to start doing. You have to get into a rhythm, and you just have to run your own race and respect your tires. And
yeah, I was about to say, but doesn't this, if you are looking at attrition in a long race like this, or a short sprint race, but a long race on tires, does the safety give you a little bit more confidence that the tires will last longer because you're obviously not pushing them as much now?
In an endurance race, yes, because it's time based. But and you're loving the caution laps because you get a break.
Yeah.
But this is more of a distance race where we have lap count than time. I know you guys have a time limit of how long these races can go, but it seems like we're probably still going to make the last 18 laps go. But yeah, it is good for tires. You do get laps that you don't have to do at 10 tenths, but it just now you have to go back and fight and get back into that rhythm again, and that can be hard to do for some drivers. I know sometimes we would go to caution and I'd be doing really well, and then sometimes some of the other guys would put themselves into a different mentality, and you'd have a serious fight on your hands.
There's Edward Savagian, so whatever problem he had is now being looked at. The Big Machine Vodka car, teammate to Scott Borchetta, but it looks as though he's got some suspension issues.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. He was 3rd last year. A lot of fans on our Facebook. JP Southern has a lot of fans, as does Rafa. So if you're watching from home, make sure you download the TransAm app on Google Play or the Apple Store. Tell us where you're watching
Ben's
from.
giving free swag on the app this weekend, are you?
Yeah, we'll give some T-shirts away. So tell us where you're watching from, who you're rooting for, and if you have any questions, send us our way while we're under these double yellows. Hopefully we can answer them.
So we are under caution yet again here in what has been a very dramatic feature race here. We're looking at the 04 of CJ Cram in the midfield. And there is Michel Abate racing in both the West Championship.
That's Alex Wright. There's Michel.
That's right. Yes, excuse me.
So Jim Gallagher, this red car right behind Wright, he's running in the West Coast. He runs both championships, but this weekend it's West Coast. Right behind him is Michelle Abate with that beautiful American flag on the roof of her car.
Pretty good next to all the stripes.
Yeah, it does.
This track always looks great from a
yeah.
I always love whenever we fly out because I live down here now, and it's always great when you fly over this place and you get to see all the stripes and how well they painted this thing. I know.
Is that the Learjet car?
No, it's Delta. Delta. But I do know that if you go and decide to do donuts or something on any of these,
you could be penalized.
You get a big boy fine. I know Cooper McNeil, he won the Ferrari Challenge race.
That's right.
And decided to go do a few donuts on the stripes, and they were very, very unhappy with it.
Yeah, Bobby doesn't like his track messed with.
No,
somebody's got to clean that mess up.
Right, they got to repaint it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a pain. Yeah, it's a real pain. There's a lot of aspects that are very unique here.
That's not good to know now, because we may have encouraged some of our drivers that win to do
we?
some donuts on the star.
Who's we?
A guy named Ben.
I've heard of that guy.
Know.
He's trouble.
Well, I know Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Cletus McFarland were out here doing drifts around this whole place the other day, but they told them that you're not allowed to go on the stripes.
So that led them straight there, I'm sure.
I would assume so.
Well, we've got just over half an hour under safety in this one, the TA2 Championship. It's a $5,000 fine, I'm told, for wrecking the paint. There you go.
I believe Cooper was fined $15,000.
Wow, poor old Cooper.
Yeah,
he's had a good season as Cooper McNeil.
He has. But I mean, when you're running for our challenge, I don't think $15,000 is really that big of a deal.
These racing drivers, they can afford it.
Yeah, it's worth it. I would have probably framed the receipt with the trophy.
So, just over half an hour left. It's going to be a 30-minute sprint race. NASCAR tuning in to see what they're about to get amongst in May next year as we welcome the NASCAR Cup Series. We can't wait for them to come into town. Book your tickets, get your RV, park it up right there on the back straight and listen to the roar. We'll, of course, be back here in the 2021 season, and I think we're rounding it out here, I think.
Looks like we've got a big wall repair somewhere. I'm hearing from control that we have a wall repair, so this may
19,
be a while.
I think it is, yeah. You know, I've got a feeling, I'm putting
that.
it together now, I've got a feeling that it's turn 19 where the problem is, and it could well have been car 99, Michael Self, that may have caused that. Because he kind of disappeared, didn't he? On board with Cameron Lawrence. You know, I've talked to some drivers, Gar, who say they hate the safety car. You talked about it being a chance to relax, but because you're going slow and you're having to warm the tires, physically, actually, it's quite exhausting.
Well, you don't have as much wind going through you guys. Through the cars, and I know the newer GT cars and stuff, they actually have like air conditioners and stuff inside. But these. I mean, we got a black flag.
We got a black flag.
They're going to take them off the track.
That means all the cars will be brought into the pit lane while we rectify. It'll be a 20-minute, potentially, wall repair. And that's for safety, of course. You just cannot have a hole in a fence or a hole in a wall. And so, for safety reasons, it adds a bit more drama to it. And, Gar, this is where I will turn to you and say, now what do you do?
Now, that throws all the tire strategy that you think you had through the whole race out of the window. Now it's going to become, if it is a 20-minute fix, I think that leaves us with a little under 10-minute race.
Well, I'm going to punt Ben outside and see if he can go and find out some news, because that's what he loves to do. But let's take a look at where we think this problem might be. It doesn't look at 19 as there it is. At the exit of 19.
Who hit that?
There we see it. Logano, our Italian drone pilot that we shrunk down to 1.5 inches, has got it. And there you see, we didn't see it before, but now you can see what's going on here. And we've got 6-7 trucks out there and about 10 people as well trying to fix what it looks like has been Michael Self. And I think, there's one car on that trailer, but it's not Self's car. But Gar, just go back to what you were saying. This is not an easy time for a driver because you don't know how long it's going to be. What can and can't you do? Not much, right?
Well, I mean, if you're with the 10 minutes that they have left. See, now this is the worst part because now you have to sit in this car
and
you have no wind going through you.
Yeah.
Now you just get cooked. But Yeah, I mean, if it is a 20-minute fix, that gives us a little under 10-minute of a 10-minute sprint race, and I think you'll see some guys. The most aggressive guys will definitely show their colors out here, and I think you'll see a lot of bumpers, and I think you'll see. Hopefully, you won't see a lot of bumpers.
Well,
maybe you will.
It's not an air fence; it's just a safety wall, which are these plastic.
Right.
Some of them filled with water, some of them not. But if it has been damaged, and you can see, I'm not sure what car number that is on the truck. We might get a close look at that.
It looks like a white car.
Yeah, it was one of the white cars, and it wasn't. Cameron Lawrence has turned the engine off.
I wonder if they're allowed to get out.
Yeah, I would.
I would.
So we wait for a restart of this one, and while we wait, we've got a chance to talk about the Winner's Circle charity.
One of the focuses of this program is not only building the car, but we're building the entire student.
Making can only happen if you do it on your own.
It's all about project-based learning.
Take it out, straw it up.
How do we build a team?
Winner's Circle benefits my students in multiple ways. It starts off with teamwork, and it's not just a standard, here's the facts, spit it back, school. It's a product that you generate that has to be worked on till it's right, not till it's done.
I really see the students engaging in ways that we have not seen before.
The Winner's Circle allows us to work more as a team rather than individuals to create something bigger.
When we do like all these tasks and hands-on stuff.
Welcome back to the Circuit of the Americas, where we are under a black flag situation. We've had a damage to the exit of turn 19 wall, which is being repaired as fast as it possibly can. The drivers are still locked into their cars and probably getting a little overheated at this point. It'll get worse when Ben puts a mic in their face. But Ben is down there. He's hot-footing it to the pit lane. This is Jonathan Green with Gar Robertson. We're keeping an eye on what's happening. And I can see that the engineers are now talking. And I can just see our crew with Ben making their way to the front of the grid where Rafa Matos is sat. And the crowd getting a really good view now of TransAm, all on their feet. It's just great to see crowds at a sporting event.
Sort of scenario here for this. That 4 or 5 lap shootout would be pretty entertaining for the fans, I would say.
So what would that be? Just literally 1 lap sprint?
2 or 3, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, maybe.
And there is Rafa Matos. And we may see if we can get a word with him. I wouldn't want to talk to him right now, but Ben is fearless.
I know. I mean, a lot of these guys up front, a lot of have either has a lot of Brazilian stock car experience.
Yes, he does.
Cameron Lawrence has a lot of TA2 experience. He's got a couple championships as well.
He said to me that when he first arrived in America, it was stock cars that he grew up watching, and he did do a bit of Brazilian stock car racing. Yes. And he thought before he did Indy that that's what he was going to do, but in the end, he chose to do Indy cars, and now he's come back to stock car racing. So this was always a passion.
I know it's competitive down there. I ran with Felipe Fraga at the 24 hours this year in our car, and he runs that series. So I know it's very, very competitive down there. So a lot of people cut their teeth down there, and they drivers down there. So.
Well, there is Mike Skeen's car, and we've been talking a lot about that as we go back on the onboard of Cameron Lawrence. But Mike Skeen's car had damage to the rear of it, and I just got a quick shot of Ben, who is in position, and I'm sure as soon as he's ready, or Mike is ready, we'll hear from him about the damage to the rear of that car, because that's one of the big stories of today. That's our championship leader, the Liqui Moly 77. And it's been a really interesting year for Mike Skeen because he won at Sebring, the first race of the year in February. And then, of course, COVID arrived and we all locked down. We did an E-championship. And then we went back out to racing at Mid-Ohio, and we've been racing ever since. So, but throughout all of that, Mike Skeen has led the championship.
I not know the damage that he has to his car too, because like you're not really looking at your car, and you can't really. I mean, you're not looking at it from third-person point of view. So,
all right, well, let's head down to Ben Sissel in the pit lane.
Hey, so I'm here with Jim Frazier, who's the crew chief of Mike Skeen. And Gar, I know you know him very well. You've got body damage in the back, and now you've got Lagacy up there. What's your strategy? Scott Lagacy moved up from the back of the pack, and now he's in
Mid-Ohio, and we've been
back. Scott Lagacy moved up from the back.
Good work, Ben, and Tony Garcia there, bringing us the pictures from the pit lane as we fire up the engines once again to go racing. And as Gar Robertson alongside me here in the commentary booth said, this is going to be a really exciting restart because it's hell-bent for leather at this point, isn't it? There's no strategy here. It's just go.
Oh, there's some strategy here.
All right, will you tell me what it is?
Okay, so it's looking like so we have 12 minutes left on the clock. I don't think we're going to make the 18 laps, so it's going to be a time sort of race.
Yeah.
So they're running about 2 minutes lap, so we got 5 to 6 laps of racing, I think, here. Looks like we're pushing one.
That's Lagacy, isn't it? Got him going. So we have 18 minutes on the clock at the moment, officially.
Right. Okay, so that
oh, that is Cox being pulled off the 96. Bose now goes out. Go ahead, Gar.
Okay, so that could or 18 minutes. I was looking at the wrong thing. That was the yellow. But okay, so we got about 9. I think we can get about 9-10 laps in,
which is great because
that's pretty great.
Yeah,
it gives everyone to get back into a rhythm. I was actually kind of hoping for like a 5-lap shootout here. I think it was pretty entertaining to watch. I hate doing them, but
just explain to some of our audience who may not be familiar. But Paul Tracy described having a flat spot. How hard is it when you have one tire that's flat spotted?
It depends on how bad you do it. I mean, and it depends which tire you flat spot. But I mean, it can inhibit you from finishing. I mean, you're literally taking the tire and grounding off a portion of it. And, hopefully, you don't do it on cords and the tire has a failure. So
let me ask you again. Let me put you in Cameron Lawrence's position just one more time and give you a choice. Do you go for it at the restart and try to beat Rafa to the punch at the top of the hill, or do you say, no, I know Rafa, he's very aggressive, I'm going to wait until I get a chance, I've got 9 laps?
You're going to wait for the best chance that you have. So if his best chance is at the restart, he's going to take it. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, because you might not get another one.
Correct.
You can't wait for the perfect chance.
There you go.
Wait for the only chance. It might be the only chance.
The mindset of a driver.
So
exactly right.
Yeah, the chance presents itself. He's going to take it. But I know the 2 drivers up front are very aggressive. They can be very aggressive with each other, and I wouldn't be shocked. Another thing I wouldn't be shocked to see is they might end up taking each other out. But
yeah.
But
and then Mike Skeen would just. And he's had a season like that, which started with Merrill doing it at Sebring while leading.
Exactly. But I'm not counting anything out of this race. I think we'll get a good race at the end of it. I think they play well with each other. I think so, but you never know what's going to happen.
Well, let's just look at the championship coming into COTA, because Mike Skeen had 183 points to Thomas Merrill's 140. Merrill not here this weekend, and Rafa Matos on 131. So this is a great opportunity for Rafa Matos to close the gap with 2 doubleheaders left to go on Mike Skeen. Cameron Lawrence likewise has 117 points. Tyler Casera not here on 87. So both Rafa Matos and Cameron Lawrence, the 2 men we're looking at right now, have the most opportunity as the safety car pulls away and leaves Rafa Matos in control of this race. We'll have a 14 lap or 14-minute sprint, and away they go. Well, Rafa got away well, and Cameron Lawrence is going to have to really work hard to get to the top of the hill before him. I can't see that happening. Skeen more likely to make an approach, and he does so. Mike Skeen goes for second place. And has he got it? We're on board with Paul Tracy, who's just lost a spot. Well, he got it back. But he got the chrome horn out again.
That should be another. That might be another caution here. So right. I might get my 5-lap shootout here.
You might. Well, that was a great little bit of onboard we got there from Paul Tracy's car as he watched the car in front overtake him and then go out by going sideways. I don't know if he got a nudge or not, but we see through the S's the tyres starting to go a little bit as they start to drift a little bit here as we go back on board with Paul Tracy.
And that's a very easy spot for it to get out of hand for a driver because the fuel has now started to burn off. So these cars should be maybe
a lot lighter,
a third of a tank. And when you start coming over that crest of turn 1, it kind of drops you off. And where worn tires and less fuel, the rear end starts to get a little bit light. So it's an easy thing to do. But
Abate going wide.
It looks like Paul Tracy did get into him a little bit, but.
Well, so they're not worried about the damage, Ben, to that car. So, and they're just going. It looks like for the championship, staying third.
Yep. And it looks like Cameron got back by him.
And Lagacy, therefore, will have probably been informed that that's the case. So he'll start getting very aggressive, I'm sure. He looked very comfortable when you spoke to him, Ben, about how he was feeling.
Yeah, I could tell in his eyes he was relaxed, and I expect Lagacy to be on the podium. I don't know who he's going to take off, but I think he's going to put himself on the podium.
All right. We're back with Cameron Lawrence in second place. He's losing time now to Rafa Matos, who's had a scintillating restart. He got a good restart up the hill and has pulled away and gapped second place, Lawrence. The gap was 0.4, and I think as they come across the line, it'll be more than that. And here you see it yourself physically.
1.5.
Yeah, so well done to Rafa. Skeen again, hounding Cameron Lawrence up the hill.
It definitely seems like Rafa has the fastest car on the track right now.
Yeah.
But I think the battle for the lead might not be there, but I think we definitely have a battle for the podium. For sure.
Yeah, now I see that damage. I can see why it's not bugging them, because it really is just a rip in the bodywork, and it's certainly not affecting the tires by any means. It just looks a little ugly.
It will probably affect his straight line speed
yeah.
down the back straight. But,
sure.
But I mean, it looks like he's putting the car. It looks like he's putting the car together. It looks like he's all over the back of Cameron right now. So
you can't see it on the cameras, but I was down there at the pit. There is a lot of damage on Paul Tracy's car, almost on every panel.
Wow. He likes to get amongst it.
Yeah. That's why he's everybody's favorite, right?
Exactly. And a lovely shot here from high above the Circuit of the Americas as they dive into 11. And still, no big major moves. We're keeping an eye on Boris Said, obviously.
Yeah, let's talk about Boris Said.
Well, he's up to 10th now.
Yeah, he is up. He started out in the back at 28th, so he made up 20 positions in a car he has never driven before at all.
Didn't qualify.
Didn't qualify. Has no. These are his first laps in this car.
That's impressive.
Weekend. And so he's up into the top 10. I don't think he'll get up to the front because he doesn't have any practice time, but he's done pretty well, I think.
I'll tell you who's enjoying this is Scott Buschetta, because he's right behind him. So Scott Buschetta is living the dream quite literally. And it looks as though Paul Tracy's been black flagged, I'm told. And that's not good. So Paul Tracy will be out of this race.
Probably the incident in turn 1, right?
Yeah, I would say that.
He did turn around the car. He got the chrome horn out. You missed it, Ben.
Yeah, that's a little bit too aggressive on that, but
oh well.
So
welcome to TransAm.
That's Rafa's crew right there, Silver Hair Racing, and I don't think it could be going better for them today.
Yeah, but I've had a lead like this in this race too, and this track is a lot more abrasive than you think. I think it looks like they've gotten rid of a lot of the curbing and stuff that usually beats the car physically.
Right.
But it's still, there's still 20 corners in this track, and there's so many different loads, and unloads on this track. It's hard on machine.
I'm surprised that Paul Tracy stayed out, but also Scott Lagacy's not really closing the gap with Mike Skeen.
Tracy's just enjoying himself. He may not have even seen the black flag.
Scott Lagacy's had to use a lot of equipment, a lot of machinery to, a lot of tires to get from 28 to 4th. So if he stays in 4th, I'm still proud of him. So, but I think he's pretty hungry for that podium. I think we might be able to see him in a 3rd or maybe even a 2nd, depending on how the 2nd and 3rd drivers have used their tires.
9 minutes remaining, just under, as the battle for the podium continues to roar on. And Cameron Lawrence doing everything in his power to hold off the championship leader Mike Skeen. But both these men, and I'm including Rafa Matos in that, have a chance to make some damage into Mike Skeen's lead overall. And they need to keep Skeen in 3rd place. And you heard from his team manager there, Skeen happy to kind of follow these guys home, but given an opportunity, he'll take it.
They've set their fastest times of the race, all 3 of them.
Wow.
And I thought I thought the times were gonna fall off much more than they did.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're running.
Whoa!
That's Jim Gallagher, right there in the braking zone.
Right in the braking zone. Something broke. And it wasn't his brakes. Well, it could have been.
Just having
nice.
a spot.
So that's Michelle Abadi taking a point in the West Coast, just right by Jim Gallagher. Nice job. And
she'll be pleased to have seen that.
Yeah, and a good recovery from Jim.
Yeah, very nice pirouette there.
It was. He got. Yeah, that was.
I give him 9.5.
The Russian judges like that. So back on board with Paul Tracy now. Let's see if he does come in now and take the black flag. He doesn't look like he's slowing down any. No, he's not.
He's not.
He's going as wide and high as he likes. Now let's see if we can see, as we stay on board with him, whether he gets the black flag this time. No. Now, Lagacy's lost some time here. I thought he was going to be challenging for 3rd. And that bonnet looks, the hood of that car looks a little loose as well, where he did hit the back of the car, so that might be another factor too.
And they're all running within about a 10th of each other. Rafa Matos has a 14.3, Cameron Lawrence has a 14.4, and Mike Skeen has a 14.5. So, I mean, they're running faster times right now than we were running.
Oh no! Another incident. CJ Cram. And
like
let's hope
turn
he can
20.
keep that going. We can't have another safety, surely. Gar has called it all through this race. He said we were going to have a last-minute dash, and he might be right yet.
He might be. It looks like he just looped it. It's really easy to do that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, look at this.
Oh, look at this.
Mike Skeen, Cameron Lawrence, side by side.
Trying to get a little side draft there, but he's on the right side of the road.
And who's going to brake late? Last of the late breakers, and it's Skeen who turns in. But Lawrence isn't given an inch.
No.
Side by side towards 13. Rubbing is racing.
See if he can hang on.
Go on. Skeen giving him a little push, a little love nudge.
Well, there's no love lost there because after the VIR race, Cameron Lawrence came up after the checkered and bumped Skeen in the back pretty hard.
Yeah.
So, I think they're going to race pretty hard against each other here in the next round.
Yeah, it's real racing here. We've carried on the tradition of hard racing, too, since 1966.
Unfortunately, it looks like Scott Lagacy's momentum has kind of fallen off a little bit.
It's 20.
We got a full course caution.
Full course caution. Here we go. Well, you have to, don't you?
As long as we don't end under caution.
No, I don't want to end under caution. Well, that car, if he can get it under power, should be able to get out of the way fairly quickly. But
there's a little escape road there in the corner, so
they might be able to push
them
him off real quick.
They can go. I've been really impressed with the Circuit of the Americas safety crew.
Yeah, they've done well.
They've done some they really hustle. We see them,
and they've been out of action for some 8 months.
Yeah. They're really good, really efficient. So thank you, Circuit of the Americas safety crew. There's Boris.
Yep, Boris said, pedaling away and pedaling strong, doing a great job.
Got Borchetta, Jet Nolan. There's William Cox. Great job, Alex Wright. These cars look fantastic. Michelle Abadi.
There she is, and getting some big points now.
If I'm
in
right,
the West Coast.
I think she's leading West Coast.
I think she is.
Michelle,
now, she's had a win. Would this be her second?
Top 13. Yeah, this would be her second win on the West Coast.
Wow. Brilliant.
And to do it at Circuit of the Americas, I know how much she would
special.
love that. So let's hope that. But Jim Gallagher's right behind her. Jim Gallagher has a lot of experience. He races in both championships, so he's not going to give up easily unless he's flat spotted those tires. There's Tracy taking that black flag. So I'm sure looking at the body language of the three-dimensional services group team, they're not happy about it. Looking like something on the front side. New tire. Yeah. He did tell me he flat spotted his front right tire at the pit lane, so that's what they're probably changing right now.
Oh, it's flat.
It is flat.
It is flat. So it was a. It's just. Oh, they're taking a picture of it.
What was that about?
Maybe he has a penalty. I don't know.
Maybe
well,
Ricky
you can see the
Brooks
damage
is
to the
fan.
front where he hit the car that went off.
Rest of them.
He chipped the chrome horn, is what we're saying.
Yeah. You know, it wouldn't be Paul Tracy unless we had, he's doing what Paul Tracy does best. Race hard, give it 100,000%.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's go through the top 10 right now.
Okay.
So we've got Rafa Matos in first, Cameron Lawrence second, Mike Skeen third, Scott Lagasse fourth, John Paul Southern fifth, John Atwell sixth, Barry Bowes seventh, Matt Fastnacht. Great showing with him and Stevens Miller Racing in eighth. Boris said ninth somehow. Scott Borchetta in the top 10. Congratulations, Scott Borchetta, Big Machine Vodka. Great showing here. Then we've got Jet Nolan, Alex Wright, Michelle Abadi in 13th, and in first in the West Coast, to my knowledge. Jim Gallagher second in West Coast, to my knowledge. And right now, there's a possibility of ending under caution coming from race control, which is rather unfortunate.
It's going to be white flag next time round. And I tell you what, you mentioned Scott Borchetta. He's going to be loving fighting with Boris Said in 9th, doesn't he?
He sure is, yeah.
And it looks as though we're going to end up finishing this race under caution by the looks of things, because time is ticking down. So this is the final lap. And that's big news for Rafa Matos of the Silver Hair team. The number 7 is going to take a famous victory here at the Circuit of the Americas. It's not been the best of seasons for Rafa, but he's been there or thereabouts, and I think he certainly deserves this one. Would you agree, Gar?
I don't know. I was thinking, going back to not being the best of seasons. I mean, you got to remember also, this is a rookie team. I mean, they've done phenomenal.
That's true. Fair point.
And watching the how much the field has progressed since I've even been there. They came in as a rookie team with little experience, and I mean, Rafa's a fantastic driver. Don't get me wrong, but just the team, just coming up against Peterson, who's been in TA2 since TransAm kind of got relit, and Stevens Miller, who's been there for a long time, and running against some of these guys. I mean, Jim Frazier and Norm Johnson, and all these guys, all the cars from Howe and Cope, and how much they've progressed. I'm very proud of those guys and seeing what they've been doing this year. They've done a great job.
Well, it's been a big day for this man, Cameron Lawrence, and the man in front of him, Rafa Matos, because they will close the gap on third place Mike Skeen. Skeen, though, as you heard from his team manager, was happy with third, didn't need to get amongst them, let him go, he said. He had a damaged car anyway, although it didn't seem to affect him too much. And that means that Skeen will keep his lead, but they'll take a few points away from him, and then we've got a real championship finale at Road Atlanta and Laguna Seca, both doubleheaders, and our TA2 championship for 2020 is going to be really good. Rafa Matos, then, the Brazilian, takes the checkered flag here at the Circuit of the Americas. America's Cameron Lawrence takes second place, and championship leader Mike Skeen for the Liqui Moly 77 team, and Joe Miller Racing will take third. In fourth place, Scott Lagasse from the back, a brilliant run ahead of John Paul Southern Jr. in fifth place, John Atwell in sixth, Barry Bowes, that's his best finish of the season, in seventh, and he does it at home here in Texas. Matt Fastnacht, who came up from the Miata Championship and has put on a great display of finishing in the top 10 ahead of Boris Said, who also started from the back. A top 10 for Scott Borchetta. He'll be pleased with that. Ahead of Jet Nolan, the youngster. Alex Wright takes 12th. And Michel Abate gets 13th overall, but we think wins the West Coast Series here at Circuit Americas. When I say wins a race here for the West Coast Championship. And that will put her in a very good position in challenging for the overall title on the West Coast when we come down to Laguna Seca at the end of the season in early December. Well, my thanks to Gar Robertson. Have been fantastic insight. Did you enjoy that?
Thanks for having me.
Does it make you want to go back?
Yeah. There's all sorts of things that make me want to go back.
There you go.
There's some stuff I got to do first, and then we'll probably come back.
And if you want to see Gar Robertson racing, tune in next weekend because he'll be at Sebring.
Yep, we'll be there for the 12 hours.
In the Merc?
Yep.
In the 12 hours.
Yep.
A great experience.
Me, Lawson, and then other fellow TA2 champion, Mark Miller, he'll be in our car as well.
And send Mark our best. He won his championship right here this time last year. So
we're gonna need
Trans-Am drivers don't go anywhere. They go up, up, up.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
He's doing it! Good for him. And I say oh no because we already found out that you get a big fine for that. But what the heck?
Why is Cameron doing that, though?
Well, Cameron's just a showman.
Yes.
What the heck? He doesn't care.
But
he probably doesn't know about the fine.
I don't know about the fine. Yeah, we're gonna get, or we'll probably need spine alignments after Sebring next week.
Yeah, probably after all that bumping.
The track's so bumpy in our cars. But
yeah, I don't fancy 12 hours around there.
I've heard that I've never done the 12 hours yet, but I've heard that the 12 hours of Sebring is harder than the 24 hours of Daytona. So
you've been training hard for it?
We have been training hard. It's we've been training hard and getting ready for next season as well. But it's been great to watch this one, and we're excited for next time.
Well, let's take a look at the results then. My thanks to Gar Robinson. Rafa Matos takes the win for Silver Hair Racing in the Chevrolet Camaro. Cameron Lawrence is second. Mike Skeen in third. Scott Lagacy fourth. JP, as we call him, JP Southern Jr. is fifth. John Atwell takes sixth place, his best result of the year, as it was for Barry Bowes in seventh place. Matt Fastnacht came up from the Miata Cup and takes a top 8. The mighty Boris Said takes ninth, and Scott Borchetta with the Big Machine Vodka team takes a top 10. Here is Rafa, the Brazilian, undoing the belts, and we'll see that curly black hair and that big Brazilian smile any moment. And there it is. Yeah, that is a big win for the Silver Hair Racing team. And Gar puts me right. This is a team that really just came together at the beginning of the season. And I said that we're having a tough season. And Gar quite rightly points out that actually they've had a pretty sensational season given that it's a new team. And Rafa, of course,
yeah, it was a pretty good race. Seemed like a battle of nutrition. I'm just thankful for my owners, Maurice and Laura Hull, and the hard work of all my crew guys and my little rocket right here.
Nice.
Rafa Matos, you got to talk to us. We've had a lot of people watching, a lot of Rafa fans were saying they were rooting for you. It worked out exactly how you wanted it to.
Well, let me tell you, today was a hard one. My crew suit wasn't working before the race, so it was really hot. It was really difficult, especially when we stopped here in the pit. So the car, really good car. I had a really good balance in the car today. We were able to pull away on the restarts. I felt we had the pace for all weekend, but we missed a little bit in qualifying yesterday. But just a really proud moment of this team. It's a young team, Silver Hair Racing, Maxima Oils, PFC, everyone that has been supporting us this year is just a big moment for us, and can't wait to finish the year strong.
Congratulations. Hey, your teammate won first in Masters too. So Maurice Hall first in Masters, Rafa Matos first
Silver
overall.
Hair Racing, number 57, Maurice Hall, ladies and gentlemen. Silver Hair Racing, Jeff Holly, congratulations. You guys have had a great day today. Maurice, you got to jump up on that top step. Yeah. How does it feel?
Well, here, you got to put that on, and then I'll give you the mic. Okay? All right, perfect. Yeah, man. There we go. All right, guys.
Listen, thank you all very, very much. This means the world to me. I want to thank my wife, my team leader over there, for putting up with all this. And I got the best crew, and you're going to hear about one of the drivers here in a minute. But Jeff and guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a big deal. I appreciate it. Now, thank you for putting on a good show, John. Really good deal here. You did a good job with this. It was a lot of fun for a lot of people, a lot of good racing. Sorry we had so much caution, but it was a good deal. Thanks again.
Rocket Rafa, when you came in. Rafa, tell us about your race. Nice job.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, we were looking for this win for quite some time, and you know, we're close in Mid-Ohio, we're close in Road America also, but this weekend it seems that we had the pace from the beginning, and it was always a pleasure to race against two champions, Mike Skeen and Cameron Lawrence. Always hard racing. We had a great pace all race long, so just had to focus on restarts, make sure no mistakes on restarts, and you know, just bring the car home. And looking forward to a strong end of the year, and just really proud of the team. It's a young team, Silverhair Racing. Every single mechanic, every single person that has been supporting our program this year, our sponsors, Maxima Oils, PFC, Waukegan Farms. Really proud of everyone, you know. So today was a really good day. Thank you.
Nice.